Hey guys, I'm going to show you hopefully how you can form the mount for your trumpet. I'm going to give you some clear and some black thermal and soft, we call it at work, which will hopefully be able to grab your valve body on the trumpet, and it's a little bit soft and flexible, and so it won't be too hard against the valve body, which is the reason why I'm giving you some of this. It's thermoformed, so you'll need a heat gun or an oven, but then it gets sticky in the oven, so probably the heat gun's going to be better. But yeah, so my wooden trumpet is going to be the demonstration piece. I know that you're going to be doing it on the bottom end of your valve, so I'm going to do it on the top end of the valves to make it actually a bit more realistic as far as the grip goes on how your valve bodies are built on the actual trumpet. What I'm going to do is heat it with the heat gun and just form it by hand. I've got a set of these rigger's gloves or TIG welding gloves. So you'll need something like that. This stuff forms at about 130 degrees, from 130 degrees to about 150, so you're not going to want to touch it by hand. But I'll do this all in real time. I'll send you the link to this video so that you can see it and come back to it, if it works. So I've got my heat gun set to 350. Now I'm just going to let it warm up and get going. This won't be really pretty, but at least it'll be a bit more gentle on the trumpet valve body, which is about the only place that we can grab the trumpet securely. So anyway, here we go. Heat gun's getting up the temperature. This will actually take a couple of minutes. So bear with me, it's going to be boring. And after we've got the soft plastic on, we'll put a harder plastic over the top that you can then mount the I'm thinking GoPro mounts will work the best because you can get them anywhere. There's a lot of variety of how they work. It's just easy. And you can file them down a bit so that it's a one-handed on-off operation. They don't need to lock into place for you. So anyway, it's gone a little bit clearer now that it's been heated. It's starting to get a little bit sloppier. Nearly there. So just going to form it down by hand. Hopefully push it into some of the gaps, which you'll ideally want to do so you get a good grip onto the trumpet. That's the first stage. The second stage is getting some of this plastic. So I'll pause it now, I'll chop up a bit of this and form it over that, and then we'll see how it looks. Cool. Okay, so there's our other piece. I think it's going to be not too much of a worry what shape you cut these to start off with, because you're going to be cleaning it up once you've done the shaping and everything, because it'll never end up exactly the way you want it in one go. But yeah, I'll just really roughly cut that. I'm just going to shape it up. I think the left-hand side needs to be a bit longer than the right-hand side, because for you guys it's going to be easier to have all the mounting hardware on the left-hand side away from your hand that's playing. That's all I'm thinking about with this. So I'm just going to lay it up slightly biased to the left-hand side. This will take a little bit longer to heat up. It's a little bit more dense, but same sort of process. This is a very much more rigid plastic. You see now why the gloves are very handy. Got the heat gun set to about 350 degrees, which means I'm not actually trying to get the part to that temperature. I'm only trying to get the part to about 150, but if I've got it up a little bit higher, it means it's got more energy to put into the plastic. So I'm only going to heat the bottom 2/3 of this and leave the top third where my fingers are and horizontally across from that. I'm going to leave that relatively unheated because I want that to stay relatively flat so that I can get the GoPro mount onto that part as flat a surface as possible. So world's most boring video. Sorry. Just keep moving the heat gun so that you're not getting any one part too hot. I can't give you any more advice than that, but you've got enough plastic. If you stuff it up, try again. If you stuff it up more than that, I've got heaps more of this stuff. We throw away so much of this stuff because once it gets down below a certain size, we can't use it at work, but it's still way bigger than what you need to do your job with. So I don't know what sort of hand tools you've got at home, but I'm using a jigsaw, pair of scissors to cut the softer plastic. I'm going to use an angle grinder to clean up the finished product. So if you don't have those, you can do it all by hand, but it'll just take a lot longer. Right. Just heating both sides so that it heats all the way through. Normally we use a pizza oven at work. We've got a commercial pizza oven to do this, and another dedicated infrared oven. But I don't think you want to spend 25 grand upgrading your home oven. Anyway, so see, no, still not flexible. Trouble with doing it like this, we lose a lot of heat off it as well. I'm going to try this. No, still not enough. Okay. Hopefully the heat from this should activate the other plastic and bond them both together fairly well. GoPro. Beautiful. Pause it there, come back in a couple of minutes. Alrighty, hopefully you've done a better job and it's not as gappy and horrible as my one is, but basically it's going to serve the purpose. Now we just try and pop it off. It should flex a bit, which is what we're relying on, and it's got that soft plastic to do its thing. So we've got a trumpet holder. Yay! I'm going to hold this upside down so that it looks like it's still meant to be on the bottom. So that'll clip onto your valve body and around the little way they solder it all together in there nicely. You can still put it on there. So now we've got to work out our GoPro mounts. GoPro have these great little devices. Bog standard, they're aftermarket ones as well. You don't have to go genuine GoPro. You can save yourself a shitload by not doing that. So you theoretically stick that on to there, and then there's all sorts of, sorry, should put that down. Alright, so standard GoPro mount. Don't know if you've played with GoPros at all, but there's that part there. Basically what I'm thinking is you knock these little horns off the GoPro, excuse me, off the GoPro mount, and then it'll basically just slide in without locking and slide out. So you'll put that on to your trumpet. You'll have this on your strap. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me there. So that'll be on the strap, the chest mounted part, and you'll just slide your trumpet onto that part. Well, do your thing, and then you won't need to unlock it because it becomes a two-handed job. So to unlock it and to push it up, it'll basically just be a slide it on, slide it off, and it'll hold itself with gravity quite well. Plan A. I'll just clean this up so that you can have a look at it. Okay, bear with me, you can fast forward through all the boring bits, but this is what I envision being part of the trumpet mount. So you'll have the soft inner liner, the hard plastic liner with a GoPro mount on it. This isn't modified at all, it's just a standard GoPro mount. This is an old second-hand one that I just glued on with some instant glue. But basically that, because it's soft and because you've already moulded it over the valve body, that can go on, and that can effectively stay on the trumpet. Doesn't really hurt it one way or the other. So that'll be there. That can go into the box like that, or pull it off. Doesn't really matter. The more you're pulling things on and off, though, the more chance you've got of things going wrong. This is the modified mounting bracket. I've taken the 2 tines off here, which actually lock it into there. So basically, this will be mounted on the chest piece, whichever way we work that out at, and then the trumpet can come along. And basically, with one hand, you should be able to. It's going to be a bit tricky. You are going to have to practice this. I'm not denying that. But basically, that's going to be sitting there like that. And so with one hand, you should be able to lock it in and then manipulate it into the position that you want it. And once again, to get it off, hopefully this will be fairly self-supporting, but you should be able to either fit your hand through, I don't really know how trumpets work, but then you should be able to push the trumpet off. That's going to be holding itself fairly well, but there's no locking mechanism on that, so that just slides on and off. And I think that'll be the best repeatable system for putting the trumpet on and off, because if you're out and about somewhere and this gets stood on and broken, you can go down to Crazy Clark's or whatever and get another GoPro mount, or just have 5 of them in your kit. But that there can slide straight in and out, and it's secure once it's on, because it still relies on this bottom end here to lock into the GoPro mount. It's gravity's pushing the trumpet onto that mount, so that's that part there sorted. Now I've just got to work out how to get the chest piece sorted. I was looking at using microphone goosenecks. So you have this mounted on the chest plate, and then this mounted onto that piece there. So you can still adjust it that way, you still screw it on and off, all this can pop off, the chest piece can get mounted separately. That's where we're at.